Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. That's the wrong screen. There it is. We found the game in the end. It was tricky, but we made it. So I thought I would continue with this just because I was a little bit curious where exactly it was heading. Again, I'm not totally sure if this is or isn't a dating sim, but I think so. Is the game showing up? No, it's not. Here's the game. Let me check my stream manager again. Guys, this is not my day. I had to get on super late because I tried to stop on the way home from work and get some fast food, and then like the fast food place that I was at, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if there was I don't know. They took my money and then they didn't come back to the window with the food for legitimately 25 minutes. So I apologize for the delay. I was trapped. I thought I was gonna have to live in that drive-thru for the rest of my life. And I was not willing to give up my $15 or whatever and just drive away. So, you know, it was a long time coming. It was a long haul for us to get here, but we're back and we're playing National Park Girls again. Let me find where we left off last time, which I believe was right here. We're in Yosemite National Parks, right? I'm assuming that the top slot is the latest load. I guess we'll find out. I don't know if we start repeating something. Gotta get back into character. We were, as you guys may recall last time, a bitchy park ranger that was in trouble for hitting and smacking and punching people. And we are taking a break from our usual duties in this isolated cabin in the woods at Yosemite National Park, where we have encountered what seems to be 3 young ladies who are the personifications of various American national parks. I believe that's all that you missed, Uncle. But, you know, if something else comes up, I guess we'll find out. Alright, so to start things off, a warm wetness slops against my cheek. Not ideal. Humid breath sticks to my face. I'm assuming this is the coyote that we left in the house. My eyes crust open and drift to the edge of my bed. There he is. There's our dear coyote. Did you guys miss him? Of course, I missed him very dearly. It's been 1 whole week since we got to gaze into those beautiful eyes. With his front paws perched on the comforter, Pup continues breathing in my face. His wild tongue dangles just below his jaw.
It can't seriously be morning yet.
Oh my god, I forgot this game was voiced. He pushes himself off the bed and scampers away, sliding across the floor like it's an ice rink. Why is the floor so slippery? Childish giggles fill the room, and the now familiar sound of wings flapping like an overworked engine follows. Zion huffs and puffs her way around the corner, and Pup runs up behind her. It's crazy that this is already familiar when we met her earlier this same night. I guess it's morning now. We met her last night, in the middle of the night. Couldn't have slept for more than an hour. Okay, so we met her like an hour ago. The nightstand clock seems to confirm this, as foggy memories of me glancing between it and the intruders tucked away in their sleeping bags come back to me. 3:30, 3:45, 3:20, 4:20, 5, and finally 6:30. So we have slept very fitfully throughout the night. Feel like Goldilocks if she tried sleeping on the beds and the bears were hibernating in the corner, just testing her luck until she eventually gets mauled. I peel myself out of bed. Oh, it's nice that she's got a little shower curtain to cover her bed up. You know, a little bit of privacy. Draw shut the curtain that divides the room. When I'm done changing into my uniform, I slip back out and catch a whiff of something delicious. This is the quickest way to a young lady's heart.
Good morning, Miss Eve.
Is there a reason that Zion is like an angel? Are they making any type of comment on that? Are we gonna explain, you know, our concept here, or we're just gonna kind of vibe with it? Zion stops playing with Pup to give me a courteous bow. Through the open window, a bluebird flutters in and rests on her shoulder. Of course it does. I already wish I was back in bed. I hate bluebirds.
Rise and shine, Eve who works here. Catch all your Z's.
You guys really are very annoying first thing in the morning. She's surrounded on all sides. Yellowstone peeks out from the kitchen, whisking a bowl in steady circles. Once again, a kettle rests on her head because she's always cooking shit on her geyser. From a volcano?
They must have slipped through my fingers.
Or out of your mouth.
My tiny,
When you aren't
slender
shifting
fingers.
around, you sound like a broken trombone.
I glare over at the table. Yosemite is chin deep in a book and sifting through the pages. Papers litter the table. Is she tearing apart my books? What the fuck? Why do you have papers everywhere? Some sprawled out like a shuffled deck of cards, others stacked into leaning towers. The cardboard box sits right in the middle, acting as an eye to the storm. What are you doing to my house? Without taking her eyes off the book, she raises a coffee mug into the air.
Yellowstone. Tea.
Just a jiff.
It's funny to me that they don't have, like, nicknames or, like, anything, like... anything to make this sound more like a person. They're still just calling this girl Yellowstone, like, fully. Yellowstone power walks over. Balancing the bowl in her arm, she tips her head and pours the water from the kettle to the cup. The process is delicate, like a ballerina bending into the shape of a swan. Nevertheless, through the teetering and tottering, the kettle stays balanced on top of her cone head. Once again, because the top is flat. It seems like that would be very easy to do. Things are hard to balance on your head because your head is round, but hers is flat.
Want me to replace the bag? It's pretty much water now.
Don't be wasteful. There's still some flavor left.
I mean, I really don't think, like, you're saving the planet by using your tea bags until the very last dregs of flavor are wrung out of them. I don't think that's the most necessary.
Fine, fine.
I think at that point, maybe you're just being ascetic. Yellowstone gives a defeated sigh, the same one I give every time I have to tell someone, yes, you need a permit to fish.
How about you, Eve? I saw you chugging coffee last night. Bet you take a black, huh? You seem like the type of cat who takes a black.
I forgot that they sometimes decide they're doing, like, a Brooklyn accent or something with her. Like, every once in a while. Not in every line. It's like every, like, 10th line. They remember that they were gonna do something, some kind of accent with this character. There's a pause as I try to get a handle on this stitched-together combination of English and slang. A Frankenstein of language. I mean, it's not really. It's just that she's really inconsistent about whether she has that dialect or not.
With a little sugar, actually.
Dang, thought I had it.
She snaps her fingers as she returns to the kitchen.
Oh well. Hop a squat. I'll get you a cup.
Squat a what?
Okay, Papa Squat is a very common expression, I feel like. You should not be confused by that.
She means sit down.
Just the flyby.
No can do. I have my job to take care of. Patrolling, permits, calls.
Tattling on us.
I mean, yeah. You did break into my house and threaten to kill me. Her eyebrows bounce up as she takes a sip of her tea.
Priority number 1, I assure you.
I give her a phony smile that lapses into an eye roll. I hope she sees it. I mean, she does, because she's looking at us. Or, in theory, in the scene that has been set by the narration, she's looking at us. I guess on screen, she's looking directly at the player, and not at Eve. She's right, though. It completely slipped my mind. I guess when it became clear that they probably weren't going to kill me, my mind started drifting to more abstract questions.
You can do all that later. Just breathe in that fresh morning air for now. I'm making flapjacks. Yay.
This character needs to quit moving. She's sliding all over the place. Except her quiet cheer doesn't match her solemn face.
Don't worry, cutie. I'm making you a veggie omelet.
She doesn't like pancakes? What's wrong with pancakes? I'm trying to think of like something she could be allergic to or something in pancakes that wouldn't also be in an omelet. Zion's downtrodden face lights up, hopeful but cautious. I guess she just hates pancakes.
Will you use the mushrooms I picked the other day?
She hates pancakes and loves mushrooms.
I can if you go get them for me.
With an excited nod, oh, there goes the dog, Zion shuffles off to the closet, and where Zion goes, Pup follows, and the bird does too.
Remember to
Okay.
wash them!
There's just a menagerie here in my house. This place is gonna be an absolute sty, very, very quickly. Yosemite calls out, but neither answer. Neither Zion or the dog? Because, I mean, one of those I feel that you could have anticipated. Cyan digs around in the closet. Yellowstone hums to herself out of tune and off key.
Fine. Don't cry to me when your stomach starts growing fungus.
It just cuts over to Eve peeing in the middle of the floor in absolute silence. The frying pan sizzles in the background as everyone goes about their morning, swept up in their routines while I'm swept to the side. With not a whole lot else to do except fear for my life, and let's be honest, there's not a whole lot left to fear for anyway. Wow, that is quite an aside. I grab my notebook and sit at the table. Since it's round, I have no choice but to face Yosemite. I feel like you could have very easily shifted the chair over into one of these many open spots. It is circular, so you can kind of put the chair anywhere that you want to. Regardless, if it bothers her as much as it bothers me, then she doesn't show it. She grabs a blank piece of paper from a wobbling stack and starts scribbling on it, constantly referring back to her book. What could she possibly be up to over here? Sharing a meal with a person or thing that tried to run me out of my post doesn't exactly thrill me. Having to stare at them the entire time even less so. Still, I make an attempt to clear my mind and start jotting down the events from last night, but my uniform is tight and restricted and squeezes around my joints like a python. It creams all over my joints like a python. I feel like your uniform shouldn't be that uncomfortable. Like maybe you just need to go like a size up. Because you're supposed to be able to move around in this type of uniform, right? That would be the idea. My writing is similarly uncomfortable and stiff, reading more like a report to Jesse than a deep emotional expression to Teddy. Not that there's much of that left in me anyway. The assailant exited the closet. The perpetrator wrestled the gun from me. It does sound like a report. It sounds like you're filing a police report. These are just a few examples. It's accurate, coherent enough to get the information across, definitely, but just dry enough to be vague and frustrating. I experienced it, and even I hardly know what happened. I hardly know what they are. I mean, I hardly know what they are as the player who bought the game, so, you know, you're not alone in this, Eve. It's you and me. They aren't ghosts, and I'm an idiot for buying that, even for as briefly as I did, but they aren't quite humans either. Though after their ears and wings and volcano heads, they may as well be people. As far as you know. As far as you know. But, you know, this could change very quickly.
Some sugar or sugar?
She's insufferable. I hate this one. Her way of speaking is so annoying. Why would you pronounce sugar two different ways in one sentence? Wouldn't she have the same accent both times? Yellowstone sets down a cup of coffee in front of me, the trail of grainy sugar still swirling around in it. Ew. There's an explosive pop from the kitchen, smoke plumes above the frying pan. My life is literally constantly in danger in this game.
No! My flapjacks!
What would have caused them to explode? Why would that happen? She rushes over like an overworked waitress at a diner and lowers the heat. And me, I feel like a traveler exploring the cosmos. I found an alien society and everything they do is fascinating and how mundane it is.
It's not polite to stare. If we freak you out that much, you can turn around. Or leave. That would work too.
I mean, this is her house, though. I would also probably be watching if someone was exploding stuff in my kitchen.
You'd like that, huh? For me to leave you alone so you can just keep mooching off this place.
Are you expecting a no? All the other goons always ran off to the outpost down the road as soon as they caught wind of us. Only ever came back if they had to get something. And never alone.
Any of that sympathy from last night has evaporated with the steam from her tea. All that's left is her condescending smirk. You're both condescending. You're both obnoxious. You kind of deserve each other. Drives me nuts.
Well, I'm not like the others. Thank God. It doesn't take much to scare the apathy into them.
But not you, huh?
Well, clearly not. Why are you louder? Why is this voice, like, tuned louder?
I'm open to suggestions.
I throw back the coffee like it's the nastiest double shot this side of happy hour. The scalding liquid funnels down my throat, then I surrender to my journal. Back to my dark bidding. Yosemite watches me with a focused squint.
What's that?
The widest-eyed
Official report
squint
to the
you've
head
ever
goon.
seen. The lead at the tip of my pencil snaps under the force, leaving a skid mark streaking across the page. Ew.
Journal.
Like, I know what she means,
Sorry to
but like,
disappoint.
ugh. Her ears twitch at the mention of journal.
What kind of journal? For documenting information? Studies?
No, like a diary. A personal
Just
journal.
a journal. I use it to wring out the last few drips of dams I give. Keeps me anchored to reality.
I look up at her, tracing my way from her black roots to her blue hair, down to the frosted white tips, which do not exist. Her hair looks like a waterfall pouring over a cliff.
And boy oh boy, do I need that.
She's instantly falling in love with her at the sheer coolness of her hair dye. She deflates as if I'm the one responsible for sucking all the wonder and curiosity out of this world. I had just noticed her like blue sparkly freckle things.
Suppose I
Is that
should
like
be proud
naturally
of you, though.
part of her face, or is that like makeup? I keep writing, don't bother looking up.
After all, how many of you suits actually know how to write?
I can't help myself.
You think we're dumb?
Yeah, I mean, that was the implication. Or at the very least, illiterate.
I think you're uneducated.
I feel like it takes quite a bit of education, actually, to work for park services. I mean, I could be wrong, I'm not sure. I don't have a ton of background in the area.
Look, I'm not wild about my coworkers either.
Glad we're in agreement.
But give us some credit. Or at least give me credit. You know what a school is, right?
Something I assume you didn't go to?
Why is she so hostile? If she actually is Yosemite National Park, then like park services is a huge part of the reason that she's like functional, right? Like you feel like she'd understand that.
No. For me, school was years worth of crap I had to sludge through to even get a sniff.
And was it worth it?
Not really. I'm clearly miserable. I'm clearly not enjoying anything that I'm doing. The question is like a splash of cold water to the face. It forces me to decide on whether I want to give the easy answer or the answer that lurks in the back of my heart.
Popular opinion is a giant no. It might be if people cared, but they don't. And even if I thought it was, if those people are the ones I'm protecting this land for, nothing will ever make it worth it.
Again, she's so misanthropic, and it just like it doesn't necessarily feel justified for the transgressions of the people that she's dealing with. Like, yes, they're obnoxious, you know, and sometimes they can be, you know, I guess entitled, but like that can't represent the majority of people that you meet at a large tourist attraction, right? Like the majority of the people that go are just enjoying it, right? Anytime I've ever been to like a national park, the majority of the people that are there are just, you know, admiring the park. I mean, obviously there's gonna be dickheads that you run into, but I feel like even the dickheads you run into, for the most part, their crimes are just like, you know, dropping a candy wrapper, stacking rocks, like relatively minor fixable things. If people do them en masse, yes, they're very destructive, but that's why you have staff around to stop them from doing it. I don't know. Yosemite yawns, her face slumped against her cheek in boredom. She returns to her book.
Wow.
Okay, so she
I
wasn't
was
even listening.
almost expecting something insightful.
She doesn't give a shit what we think.
Don't like the answers? Don't ask the questions.
It's not the answers that bother me. It's the rotten little mind behind them.
Again, kind of a snap judgment to make, though, too. Like, they're both extremely hostile and just, like, anti-people. Could never be me. I love people. I love people so much that I come home after dealing with them all day and get back on a microphone to talk to more of them. Lightning cracks between us. We glare at each other in silence. My eyes will roll out of my head before I blink.
You two can duke it out after breakfast. Time to chow down.
After breakfast? I feel like there is no accent that would cause you to say breakfast. Maybe I'm wrong. Yellowstone swoops in with 2 platters of fluffy stacked pancakes. A thin slice of butter slides across both of them, melting down the sides and mixing with the syrup. I poke at the pancakes with my fork. This sounds so fucking good right now. Is it poison? It seems safe. In fact, it looks delicious, like a picture ripped straight out of a menu before you get the real soggy thing. Now, I don't know if these girls grasp this, but like, I feel like if they did poison you, it would be a huge problem for them, right? Like a police presence out here running a murder investigation is going to disturb this area way more than like a single park ranger living here. Cutting a pie-shaped sliver off, I dip it into the shallow pool of syrup that's accumulated at the sides of the plate. If it's poison, at least it's going to taste amazing. I don't think it will be poison, though. I think if it were poison, that would kind of screw them over. I don't think they're actually going to kill you, because I don't think it would really benefit them in any way to kill you. I take the plunge. Warm sugar drizzles down my tongue. The rich butter oozes out of the pancakes as I chew. There's a hint of crispiness from the slightly charred rings around the sides of the cake, balancing the taste of the sugar. It practically dissolves in my mouth, so it's like a perfect pancake. I swallow.
Holy crap.
Holy crap. A moan slips out of me, almost a gasp. Oh. It would be embarrassing if this weren't so shocking or delicious. Oh my god. Yellowstone giggled.
Like it?
No. No, I'm sending it back to the kitchen. Try again. Unable to resist, I dive in for the next piece. I nod as I talk through the food.
Yeah, it's sort of amazing. How did you even...
I'm basically the chef around here.
Basically. Not completely, but... She beams with a proud smile.
And the maid, and the dishwasher, and the laundry...
Oh. Does anyone else do shit, or do they just kind of sit around?
You could say that I'm a jack of all trades. Master of them, too.
I'll say. What did you even put in this?
You know what? I take back that she's obnoxious. I think I would also talk like a crazy person if I lived in a house with 2 other people and I was the only one that cooked and cleaned and did laundry.
Trade secret.
Yosemite flips to the next page.
It's brown butter.
No fear!
Brown butter. I feel like I should know what that is. I feel like I've heard of it before, but could not put my finger on it if you asked me. A dark cloud of steam trails from the opening in her head. I think I smell sulfur. That would ruin my appetite a little bit. It's like a sulfur smell in the kitchen.
Well, whatever it is, it's delicious.
I wash down the shock with coffee.
Thanks.
Yellowstone's eyes grow to be as large as the platters the pancakes are on.
You really mean that? Thanks?
They don't even thank her? They let her do all that? They don't even thank her? The rest of them are evil. Would she prefer I tell her to piss off?
Yeah.
No, obviously she was really happy to be
living
thanked.
off canned sausages while I was here.
Tears creep to the corner of her eyes, a whimper, and then a geyser of water erupts from her head. So it's sort of a multi-purpose hole in her head. It's not just a volcano. Kind of anything could come flying out of there.
Whoa.
Holy smokes! I didn't think being complimented would feel so good. You're a good gal, huh?
That you've never been complimented either? They're so mean. What's wrong with the other 2? Why don't they say nice things to you? At least the little girl should be acting nice, right? The water umbrellas over her head as she moves in for a one-armed hug. Not overly fond of hugs or getting my uniform soaked with tears before work or touching, I scoot away in my chair.
Ah! That gives me an idea!
Well, I guess that stopped the water, so... She bounces back like a spring. The whiplash gives me a concussion. I collapse. I am rushed to the hospital. I have acquired permanent brain
stay
damage.
with me here, instead of us leaving or you leaving or anyone leaving, what if we just live together?
Ah. Well, it's a concept. It is something you could do.
Absolutely not!
I feel like something about her fingers looks really weird to me. Yellowstone, with her hand that's up. I just realized my cursor's not on the capture, but like, it's that last finger. It's that pinky finger. It's something about like the angle it's at. It's really strange. Now I'm just nitpicking completely. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really impact the sprite at all. It's just like it keeps catching like the corner of my eye, and I keep trying to do it with my fingers, and then I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Like last night, but every night.
Yes, I think that is what she is suggesting, is that all of us sleep in this cabin every night.
Just give it a think. We already have a solid setup here. We could keep the place nice and tidy while you're wage slaving away all day.
Or rather, you could keep the place nice and tidy, and the other two could just be bums, I guess. I'm too stunned to outright decline with any kind of resolve. Shameless naivete, the kind tied with a bow and given to you, is impossible to answer with harsh realism. It's genuine and it's familiar, and if the food will always be this good, maybe the idea isn't. Okay, I mean, I think you'd be fine living with Yellowstone. The obvious problem is Yosemite, who hates you and is a freak, and also said she was going to kill you yesterday. Isn't what, Eve? Isn't going to happen because that's the only thing it is. Remember why you're here. Look outside, look at the land you love, and look at the scavengers that stomp over it. Remember the hate. Allow your heart to be blackened. Now remember why you're here.
I'm only here because it's my job. Last I checked, woodland sprites aren't on the payroll. The pancakes were good, but I'm still radioing this in.
Yellowstone's excitement is snuffed out like a candle. But my flapjacks!
Aww, I thought it was a pretty good idea.
Again, if it were just you, maybe. Yosemite heaves a small sigh of relief.
Stop scaring me like that. I've had more than enough of Miss Misery.
You are also Miss Misery. You cannot throw stones, okay? Before I can bite back, Zion scampers up to Yellowstone with a cutting board. The bluebird from earlier picks at the dried mushrooms that line the board.
Does that mean we'll have to find a new home?
Yup, kicking you out. You're on the street, little girl. She stares down at the mushrooms dejectedly, but Yellowstone reassures her with a smile.
Don't worry! Yosemite knows a lot of neato places to hide. We can just trust her to take care of us like always.
Okay.
We'll be back soon. She won't last long.
She leans into the table and locks eyes with me.
It's the eyes. They're almost as dull and lifeless as the others.
Again, so mean. So unnecessarily mean. If this is the way people behave in this world, I understand Eve slightly better. I don't give her an inch, remaining flat and unblinking.
Your flapjacks are gonna get dull and lifeless if you don't eat them soon.
Yellowstone shuts Yosemite's book and scoots the platter forward. Like a sponge, the pancake has absorbed most of the butter and syrup. With a futile grasp, Yosemite stretches for the book, but it's just out of reach. She sulks, then stabs the pancakes with a fork.
I was reading that? Now I'll have to find my place again.
Well, now we'll have to find a place to live again, because you're a rude freak, and now the park ranger is kicking us out, so... you can call it even.
Too smart for a bookmark?
Smarter than you.
We both take a bite of our pancakes. Between chewing, I give her the fakest, most plastic grin I can manage, forcing the dimples until it hurts. Can you force dimples into your face? I don't have a cam on, but I'm trying it. She does it right back. It's like staring into a twisted funhouse mirror. We look so alike you can barely tell us apart.
It ain't a big dealio. Your brainiac butt has read all those books at least 50 times by now.
It is a big deal. You'd be surprised by how much you don't pick up on the first time around.
I pick up one word per read-through, so I'm only 50 words in. Her gaze drifts over to Zion, who is now crouched down with Pup, letting him sniff the mushrooms. A touch of sadness flashes through her eyes, and for the first time I notice the bags under them. Uh-oh, we're developing empathy for the enemy.
How much you forget.
Too bad Eve isn't sticking around long enough for us to use her credit card. You could have ordered tons more books.
You're giving the game away, Yellowstone!
And groceries. More fresh veggies, please.
I'm
I
sorry,
think that's
what?
the second time that they've implied that Zion has some kind of amnesia, or that her life is reset or something. Like there was an old version of her that she doesn't remember anymore. They keep mentioning this idea. I'm sure we'll come back to it eventually. I guess it's less important right now than stealing Eve's credit card. Yosemite sips at her tea and shrugs.
Just be happy you goons are useful for something. They usually cancel the card after the first couple charges.
I try to choke back a chuckle, but it comes out as a snort. This probably isn't the kind of stuff I should condone, stealing people's credit cards and buying shit on the internet, but the image of someone like Ernie opening their monthly statement to see an unexpected charge of $600 brings me more joy than it probably should. I love stealing from service workers! Honestly, screw Ernie! Tugging at Yellowstone's jacket, Zion raises the cutting board up as a reminder.
I'm gonna croak from hunger.
Yosemite winces at croak.
Please stop teaching her your second language.
I don't know why you guys are acting like this slang is so bizarre. Tons of people say that. That's like an extremely normal English language sentence. Croak for die is like, it's insanely common across basically all dialects of American English. People say this. I don't know why you guys are acting like this is insane. Yellowstone ignores her. She bends down and takes the board, her expression melting into one of complete adoration as she gushes over Zion.
Sorry. Do you want spinach on it too?
Obviously.
Don't cook it with butter though. Huh? You sure? I want you to have enough energy to go hiking with me later.
She's picky, but like in a bizarre way.
I don't think so. After
Like
you're
she
done
wants
here, there's
things
a whole
done
lot
like
of
the
cleaning up
worst
you have to
way.
do.
She's like, no, you will not be having fun. You will be cooking and cleaning and nothing else.
Give me a break. I just swept the other day.
And now the kitchen is a disaster zone. Clean before we leave.
I was trying to look and see if the blonde girls also had like elf ears, but they don't. And Yellowstone also has like the tiniest little ears. The tiniest and lowest little ears. I don't know what's going on with that sprite. There's a lot of like little things that just keep like catching my eye. Grumbling to herself, Yellowstone slouches back to the kitchen.
Maybe things wouldn't get dirty so quick if you actually rinsed your dishes.
So true, girl. Clap back.
What was that?
Nothing, Chief.
I don't understand why Yellowstone has to slave away. Why is she the only one that does housework? Why is that the arrangement? And then, like, you're yelling at her for not doing it fast enough or doing enough of it. But, like, you could do it, too. You could also help clean. Nothing is stopping you. Yosemite returns to her book, occasionally picking at her pancakes. Like, she already cooked breakfast. I feel like the normal arrangement is, like, one person cooks and, like, another person cleans, right? That's typical, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'm too based in collaboration pilled. When she's positive Yosemite isn't looking, Yellowstone pokes her tongue out at her. It's weird. I wouldn't expect some kind of hierarchy to exist among them, but Conehead and the Pixie seem to revere her like a big sister. Again, do people revere their big sisters? Is this a typical situation? All that's missing is her flipping through a nature magazine while hogging the phone. Girls still do that, right? Not really. I don't think I know anyone that still reads
You can't tear
magazines.
yourself away from it for more than 5 seconds.
It's not. Just some accounts from a miner that passed through these parts a long time ago. But it helps.
It helps with what?
With your research?
Her brow furrows and she gives me a side-eyed glance.
Want to tell me how you know that?
Because you keep mentioning research and studying. Like, it wasn't difficult to figure that one
You have
out.
a folder that literally has research written on it. Wasn't hard to put 2 and 2 together.
Look, it does math.
Why are you such a bitch? I don't understand. I don't understand what I've done to deserve this.
It does facial reconstruction too.
She pinches her eyes shut with a groan. Oh.
I knew your snooping would be an issue.
Don't get your yoga pants in a
What
bunch. I
issue?
didn't actually see anything.
I need to understand what the problem is before this character makes me fucking insane. Stuffed from the pancakes, I lean back in the chair and melt. I don't know how much butter and sugar she put in those things, but my uniform feels like a button might pop off.
Gotta say though, I'm curious what someone like you could be researching.
I gotta stop doing that, man. I scare myself every time I hide it. Yosemite pushes up against the table. A gleam of excitement colors her face.
You're curious?
Is this all it takes? Is this all we needed to get us in here? Excitement clouds into suspicion.
Why?
Just, a natural interest in other people.
Just Stam?
Just keeping the conversation flowing in a normal way. Being so close, I get a good look at her defined, pointed face. No loose skin, no flab, not even a puffy baby fat around her cheeks.
Can I get some personal space here? I don't want to catch your personality.
You already have, baby. You guys are mirrors of each other. If I squint hard enough, she's actually kind of cute. Ooh, okay. Enemies to lovers Yuri in this game? She pulls herself away and goes silent. I take back any complaint I've had about this game at all. Any of the minor complaints that I've had so far, they're dashed if there's Yuri in this.
Shut up.
Biting the bottom of her lip, she glances back and forth. She sighs, then closes her book.
You see Yellowstone's head?
Yes, I did notice that. Her voice droops to a hoarse whisper as she leans in. I do the same. I thought she was saying that for a second, like she also grows a cone on her head. But no, that's not what they meant. They meant Eve is also lowering her voice and
How
leaning
could I
in.
not?
What does it look like to you?
It's clearly like a volcano or a geyser.
What does this have to do with any...
Just tell me what it looks like.
It's a volcano.
A volcano? It looks like a volcano.
And can you guess what has a volcano?
I'm gonna say Yellowstone National Park. My final answer.
Yellowstone National Park, obviously. But volcanoes don't actually look like that.
You're not going to get anywhere with that kind of linear thinking.
She moves on. I wonder what she means by that. It doesn't look like a real volcano. So, So is it more about, like, the perception of the park instead of, like, the reality of the park? Is that what
And
they're
look
getting
at
at?
Zion.
I do. She hovers in the air, keeping the omelet out of Pup's reach. Leaves float off of her like autumn.
No, this isn't coyote food. It's not good for you.
Neither is anything else that we've been doing with this animal.
See those leaves and branches? Pretty lush, right?
Correct.
Sure.
Remind you of any particular painting?
Is it the one on my wall? Yeah. She points her thumb at the wall. I glance back and admire the painting of Zion. I glance back and admire. It's not like I'm taking a short look at it. I am deeply admiring this painting. With its deep greens and mix of fiery reds and beiges.
Wait. Are you saying...
What is she saying? What is she trying to imply?
Starting to get it?
My mind skates to the obvious.
Yeah, the three of you like playing dress-up. Real cute.
Oh, are we still trying to get her to, like, the point of, like, we are the national parks? Because I thought we established that last time.
It's amazing how you keep finding new ways to disappoint me. Let's try this again.
I ignore the snark dribbling out of her mouth. Her drooling snark. After all, disappointing people is second nature at this point, myself particularly. Yosemite scoots against the table. She points at her face, specifically the freckles dotted across it. Ah, the blue freckles. We are addressing it.
Are you giving me permission to slap you?
Clearly not. So they are part of her body.
I'm
They're
giving you
not
permission
makeup
to
or
learn.
glitter.
Now touch it.
Closing her eyes, she sticks her chin out and waits like someone expecting a kiss. The Yuri is coming. The Yuri is coming. We're closer every moment. I start to reach out my hand, but an overabundance of caution keeps me from going any further. What if this is some kind of trick? She tried to scare me away, didn't she? What's stopping her from biting off my finger? Wouldn't be the first time someone has tried that while I was on the clock. What? How frequently is this an issue? Like, other regular people try to bite your fingers? Adults? Other adult people are biting your fingers? I shudder as I remember that man's blistering bloodshot eyes. He had been delirious, caked in pine needles and mud with tattered clothes. No telling what he was hyped up on. What? So she was... Okay. This explains a lot more about this character. So she was attacked by, like, somebody who was high, having some kind of bad trip, and they tried to bite off her fingers. After Jessie made sure I was okay, she shrugged and said it takes all kinds. My god! Yosemite's nose wiggles impatiently. I decide she's probably harmless and I'm willing to risk my fingers. Waking up alive is good evidence for that. Even if we've only tossed verbal punches at each other, she was the one who offered a truce, which has to mean something, like she's setting me up for a false sense of security so she can get at my fingers. Can't shake the suspicion completely, but I do reach out and brush my hand over her cheek. A gravelly and rugged texture scratches my fingertips where her freckles should be. Ew. Ew. Her skin is gravelly? It finally clicks with me. They aren't freckles at all, they're more like scales or pebbles glued to her face. That's gonna make kissing so weird. It's gonna make our smooches so bad. Just to make sure, I sweep my hand up and down her face. Between the patches of pebbles, her soft skin glows a flushed pink.
I said to touch it, not to caress it. Jeez.
Well, you know. In the same way, I can't help but admire a beautiful painting. For a second, we just decided not to say anything. I grip one of the pebbles between my fingers and tug on it. Instead of it ripping off, Yosemite's skin is stretched right behind it. Ew.
Ah!
I'm sorry for pinching you. I feel like that was scientifically necessary, though, to ensure that this wasn't, you know, just stuff kind of glued on there. She pulls away. Hints of tears glisten at the corner of her eyes.
You didn't have to be so rough.
Like I said, scientific necessity. My mouth hangs open as the confusion bounces around like a tumbleweed in my head.
Is that rock?
Clearly, yes.
Well, it sure isn't costume jewelry.
Whining, she soothes her pulsing cheek. Sometimes the language that they choose is so, like, unnecessarily intense. I twist around and look at the top painting in the pyramid. Lambert Dome. I saw glimpses of it on the drive here. If I stepped outside, I could see it now. And every time I've ever climbed up there, it's been gravelly and rugged. So are lots of places. So is my, you know, driveway, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. Most mountains in Yosemite Valley are. I think back to Yellowstone's explanation from last night. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's basically fantasy. It's like I'm in a visual novel. But if there's any other explanation, then I can't think of it.
Your Yosemite National Park.
I believe that is what she's trying to express to you, yes. Dear God, did I actually say that out loud? Am I going crazy? He's right behind me, isn't he? But Yosemite gives a satisfied nod, and I'm convinced that I've taken a one-way trip on the crazy train. I'm riding this locomotive off a cliff. Emphasis on loco. Oh my god.
Now you're starting to get it. Finally.
I try to choke out more words, more questions, but they dissolve into breathy stutters. Yosemite looks on with an amused smirk. Faraway laughter and chatter breaks through the confused silence. From outside, I hear the snapping and crunching of twigs and leaves. The voices get louder, past the cabin, and then taper off.
Just what are you? What are you really?
You know, I don't know what it's called when anime girls personify like a concept or an object. I feel like there must be a term for that at this point because it's such a common trope, you know, to have like a bunch of anime girls that are all different soda cans, or like a bunch of anime girls that are all different animals, or a bunch of anime girls that are all different historical figures, you know, whatever. Yosemite's smirk fades into a frown. Her eyes scan the mess of books and paper and stay there. Her hand grips the table and her nails dig into the wood.
You don't know?
Ah, so that would be the subject of her research, I suppose. I hardly believe the genuine shock in my voice. I'm not actually buying this garbage, am I?
That's the winning question, isn't it?
She slinks back in her chair, breaking her razor-straight posture. She sighs, drawing in a deep breath, but releasing it as a quick puff. Alright, I'm gonna try it. I don't think that's very calming. Having tried that just now, I don't think that would calm me down if I was upset during a conversation. I think that would make me more upset if I did that to myself. Her frown relaxes into a smile. It's a soft smile, the kind people have when they're nostalgic or thinking about a family member that isn't around anymore.
Do we not know? Or do we just not remember?
Interesting. So, with Zion, when they keep implying that she has some kind of amnesia, does that mean they witnessed her, like, regress to a state where she didn't remember something, or are they just kind of assuming?
I can do without the cryptic crap.
It's anything
I didn't think that was very cryptic.
I'm telling you what
I think that
know.
was pretty straightforward.
And what I know is that I'm Yosemite. Just like they know how they're Zion in Yellowstone.
Okay, sure. But how do you know?
Excellent question.
How do you know that your stomach rumbles when you are hungry? Did someone have to explain the concept to you?
Actually, yes. I'm around small children all day long. Yes, a lot of the time you do have to teach them to recognize the feelings in their body and what they mean. Because when babies are born, they don't understand that. They don't know what the signals from their body are indicating to them. That's why babies cry when they're tired instead of going to sleep when they're tired. They know that they feel bad, but they don't know what it means. So, frankly, yes, that is something that people have to be taught. That is something that you explain. It's usually explained to you at such a young age that you don't remember learning it.
How long have you known?
I don't know.
Have you always known?
I don't know.
That's a cryptic response.
Do you know anything?
Clearly not.
If I knew anything, I wouldn't be trying to figure it out.
She shoots up out of her chair and glares down at me. Her voice cuts through the air like a dagger. Her little outburst throws the room into silence. Yellowstone coughs from the kitchen. Pup's tail spikes up in alert. I stare back, pretending to be unfazed, but secretly I'm tense. My giant muscles flex against my uniform, and it looks super hot. In the thick of the silent, Zion tiptoes over to the table. She latches onto Yosemite's hand, her own tiny hand only managing to wrap around 3 fingers. Adorable. Wordlessly, she gazes up at her with deep, pleading eyes. Yosemite's sharp face softens back to that solemn smile. Her hand engulfs all of Zion's. She strokes her palm and fiddles with her fingers. Zion gives a ticklish giggle. Cute. Cute. Actually so
I
cute.
have these fragments.
I
that
love
pop
little
into my
kid
head.
hands. I love little baby
Bits and
hands.
pieces
So
of a
sweet with their
language
little
I don't know.
fingers.
Faces I don't recognize, but seem familiar.
Okay, so you have like some memories of some other time in your life. Her voice shakes, hovering above a whisper, breaking at the end of words.
And whenever I think I've figured it out, and it's on the tip of my tongue, I forget.
She shuts her eyes tight as if trying to envision these things herself. Her grip around Zion's hand tightens, but Zion doesn't pull away or even wince. So maybe at some point she was like a normal person, and she became the park, or something like that. I don't know. I guess we'll
Like
find out.
echoes that ripple further away with each new epiphany. It just gets quieter and quieter. It's so frustrating.
It sounds frustrating. The words strain out of her through gritted teeth.
But if I can figure out just what we are, where we came from, then maybe I can finally remember.
Maybe. It seems like you might be better served, like, trying to follow your own footsteps, though. You know, backtracking. Rather than, like, researching the parks. She opens her eyes and they look older. It feels like she's staring right through me and gazing at the paintings hung on the wall. Like I'm just another obstacle getting in her way. Instead of a potential friend. Or lover?
So yeah, I don't know anything, but I'm going to.
Well, good for you.
Oh, I cut her off. Sorry, everybody. The way she's always staring at me is unsettling. She just told me not to stare. Is it a simmering anger, reluctant curiosity? I don't know, and if I knew what was good for me, I wouldn't care. I whistle for Pup. He bounces over. Finally remembering that we were supposed to be, protagonist and sidekick. In a moment of impossible patience, sits at my feet. He looks up at me, his sad brown eyes connecting with mine as he licks his chops. Again, I really don't think this thing should be in here. I'm sure it's so cute, but like... Oh, hey, wait. Go away. Now there's a stare I can care about. I tear off a piece of my leftover pancake and toss it at him. It is a coyote. A coyote. A coyote. They don't eat pancakes. That's not good for him. Springing from his hind legs, he leaps into the air to snatch it. It bounces off of his nose, and instead of any amazing acrobatic display, he twirls in circles until he finds it on the ground. I feel like one of the primary rules that park rangers are enforcing on other people is to not, feed wild animals, especially, random human food. I feel like that is, one of the primary rules that they are supposed to be enforcing in the park. You have to stop this. Bravo. Across the table, Zion stares, pouting.
It's just a treat. It's not gonna kill him.
Even the other characters are like, you're not supposed to do that. The group of voices from earlier echoes back from outside, rowdier and louder than before. They're a ways away, but I can still pick up on the occasional gratuitous curse and obnoxious laugh. She's so against laughing in the woods, but taking wild animals out of the woods and putting them in your house, that's cool. That's fine. Drunk already, kids? It's the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy. It's the same thing with the, it's rude to stare and then staring. All I'm asking is for some ideological consistency. Who am I to judge? A couple more months of this job and I'll be investing in a flask to give my morning coffee the extra kick it needs. Ranger Smith may actually end up being my life model. Praise be to Smith. Alright, at least she's recognizing the hypocrisy. That's growth. That's character growth. Yosemite eyes the window.
Friends of yours?
Obviously not.
No. God, no.
I scoff, but it comes off sounding more like a hiss. No. That's my effort at making that line sound like a hiss. Anyone, you can hire me anytime for a voice acting role.
A day on the job where I don't have to deal with those hellspawn tracking their carbon footprint in here is a day well spent.
That's what I thought.
She chuckles to herself. It reminds me of how snide some of my college professors were. Okay. I love this character trait too, just perpetually beefing with people that aren't even relevant to your life anymore. Their latte in their hand and their head up their ass, she swipes away a strand of sweat that drips down her cheek.
And what, pray tell, did you think this time?
That I was wrong about you.
Alright, I choose to ignore that. I'm devoting myself to Pup picking off more pieces of the pancake to give him. Feeding more sugar to the wild coyote. Whatever I can do to make it look like I'm not paying attention to her, but always making sure to keep her in the corner of my eye.
Last night, I could have sworn I saw some conflict swimming around in those dead eyes of yours. Sniffling in the corner, crying about just how tired you were.
Unzipping her jacket all the way, she starts to fan herself. Okay. That slight breeze doesn't cool down my simmering blood. It's like she's trying to roast me until I burn. Yeah, this is a weird interaction. She's, obviously patronizing you again for no reason, but then, she's also kind of sultry undoing her jacket and, fanning herself. What gives her the right to pry, to poke at me until I spill my guts? I'm not here to be judged. I can't tell if she's trying to flirt with you or not. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
The only
We'll find
conflict
out.
last night was you three.
The
Of
more we
course
play,
I'd
the
be
more
tired.
information will be revealed.
Why do
because
you
that's how
care?
video games work.
Because I'm tired, too. Tired of you people prioritizing that ranger image, so people don't realize you're actually hired thugs.
Hired thugs? I Hired thugs for what? You're actually hired forest thugs. Keeping your
You're
forest
just one
gang
branch
turf.
on a tree that doesn't even care about you. A bureaucratic arm I'd rather see cut off than fester. You're not here to educate. You're not here to preserve. Not unless preservation looks like a permit.
I'm so confused about what her beef is with the Park Service. The permitting is to preserve, to ensure that the area isn't overhunted or overfished. Right?
No. You're here to protect the bottom line. To shake people down when they just want to get away from the hell you've created. To make sure there's enough resources intact to vacuum money up when your masters come calling.
Well, no, most national parks are free to visit. They need to permit people for camping and fishing and hiking, because if there are too many people doing it, then you can't preserve the forest. Or, whatever other natural resources at the park.
I've seen your type before. You don't care. Putting on that dumb hat just makes you think you do.
This is such a bizarre take for the forest itself to have. Or I guess the park itself to have. Like, how are you not understanding that mass quantities of human activity is just not good for the overall preservation of the park? You're wrong. I was different. I actually did care, right? There was never any glory in this, just a slow descent into misery, unless that's where the glory is at. Yeah, I also don't know what she's talking about with this, ranger image that is so, so deeply valued. Because I do not feel like park rangers are high on the list of, most people's most respected jobs. Pride for being a glorified security guard that doubles as a janitor, cleaning up the messes of the only people lower on the totem than me. I mean, yeah, I guess a lot of what park rangers do is security, but it's I guess the same importance as security at an art museum or something, right? I don't know, without you it just wouldn't function. The only thing that separates them from me is what? Me caring enough to be miserable for it, but of course if I'm miserable, that means...
You're right. Maybe I don't.
I bend over and pat Pup's head. He paws at my leg for more, but I stand up.
Maybe caring got too hard. Maybe it wasn't worth the pain it caused.
I take several steps, stopping at her chair.
There is one thing I care about, though.
Sweat runs down Yosemite's cheeks in streams. Why is she so sweaty? Why is she so hot? Is she having a hot flash? Because I thought she was just being saucy, undoing her jacket and fanning, but I guess she's I guess she's fucking sweating up a storm too. I guess she's really hot.
Getting you the
She's
hell
fucking
out of
panting.
here. I'm radioing this in.
That's right, Eve. Do what you have to do. What you should have done all along. I start for the fossilized radio on the desk, but Yosemite shoots out of her chair. Zion cowers back.
Go ahead. Do it. Prove to me you're just another...
She's gonna pass out, I think. Yeah, her voice dissolves into breathy air. There's a solid thump. When I turn around, she's sprawled out on the floor. What happened? What the fuck happened to her? Why did she overheat like that?
Yosemite!
Who was cooking her? Before I can even connect the dots, Zion and Yellowstone are already at her side on their knees. Yellowstone grabs a stack of paper from the table and fans her. Zion squeezes her hand. I race back over and bend a knee. Heat radiates from her like an oven. What the fuck happened? Sorry, I needed a sip of my drink. I press my hand against her forehead. As soon as I touch her skin, my hand burns. She's got a fever? I yelp and pull away. It hurt? She was so hot that it hurt? I feel like I just touched a skillet and the burn seared through a layer of skin. Okay, so that's well past a fever.
A fever?
No, we're past that, Eve. I just had that discussion inside my own head. Zion shakes her head.
Wildfire.
Yosemite opens her eyes glossy and unfocused. Her breath pumps in and out as she fights to get up. So there's a fire somewhere in the park?
Don't move. You'll make it worse.
It's... close.
Again, I feel like this is an important thing that park rangers do, is monitor for that. Fire watch, right? She lets out a pained groan. A small hole burns through her jacket sleeve, orange embers crisping around the edges. It sizzles like a cigarette being snuffed out. This seems like you should go outside and find the fire, I feel like. Like a cigarette. Oh, okay, so a lit cigarette has started a fire somewhere in the park.
Oh no.
Let me slowly phase out the door. Let me slide off screen outside. I swing open the door as I rush onto the porch. The faint smell of smoke tickles my nose. Maybe just a campfire.
Not good.
Popping back into the cabin, I snatch my hat and pull it over my head. I need my very important hat to stop this fire. Maybe I can beat it down with the wide rim of my hat. Yellowstone glances back and forth in compulsive panic, mumbling words of comfort to Yosemite. Zion sniffs back a few tears, then looks to me with wavering calmness. Her tiny voice cracks a little.
How far is it?
I don't answer. That familiar smoky smell, that smelly smell that smells smelly, harsher than a chimney, drifts into the cabin. Not sure what's going on, I'm not sure how they know what's going on. But after these last 12 hours, I'm not taking any risks. That's,
Get her to the couch.
That's wise of her.
And whatever you do, stay here.
If there are embers coming off of her, I probably would not put her on my couch, though.
But Eve, we can...
I ran outside, slamming the door before Yellowstone can finish. As I sprint down the path, swatting away the branches and leaves, my eyes start to burn like they've been open for too long. But no matter how many times I blink, that poking sting doesn't go away. A crowd of voices yell up ahead. I think I can hear the fire crackling sound effect, which indicates to me that we will find it. All shouting over each other and all scared.
Put it out! Put it out!
I'm doing what I can. Now stay back and quit crying. What do we tell you, man? You just had to be the rugged mountain man.
The fucking Shaggy voice? What directions did they give this guy for Dumbass Camper 2?
He gets it. He didn't do it on purpose.
Oh my god! Oh my god, that's way more than I thought it was gonna be! This is a critical scenario! That's a lot of fire! I finally tear my way into a small clearing circled by trees, just big enough space for morons to cause trouble. A patch of blazing red dances on top of a pile of twigs beneath a tree. The fire branches out on both sides like a trail of dynamite, splitting into a short V, and also all over the place and all around me. The trunk of the tree is blackened with soot. A group of familiar campers. I only recognize them by their jackets. Don't worry, I don't have that good of a memory for faces and people. This is not unreasonable, so you can't ding me for a cinema sin. Stomp on the knee-high flames, and all their faces twisted in fear. The one I talked to last night swats his green jacket over it like that's gonna make any difference now. It's so much fire. How did it get this fucking big?
What the hell is going on here?
Obviously, we started a fire. Most of their faces go sheet white, and for a moment they forget about the fire. The kid with the green jacket just keeps swatting the ground, yet whenever he lifts it back up, the flames climb that much higher. I think he's just fanning it at this point.
You. 3 seconds to tell me what happened.
I lit a fire. I point at him, and this time he manages to pull himself away. He turns to me, his eyes red and watery from the smoke.
We were
lighting fires. 1.
I thought I put it out.
2.
I didn't mean to.
3.
Get out of the way, before your jacket catches.
I march over and shove him into his friends. He doesn't resist, stumbling into their arms like a limp scarecrow.
All of you, get away from here. Back to the campground.
Classic limp scarecrow swagger. They watch me with wide, vacant stares. If I were a truck driver, I'd have mowed them down by now. She wants these people dead so bad.
Move it!
All except one nod and start tripping their way through the woods. The kid with the green jacket stares at the growing fire, his knees quivering. His little girlfriend glances back and cups her hands over her mouth.
Come on! Let her take care of it!
I mean, what is she supposed to do about this at this point? This is a giant wildfire. Like, it's huge. They're gonna need, like, a helicopter or something. He shakes himself out of it, then wipes his eyes as he runs off into the woods. I actually don't know what you do about wildfires that are, like, large. I I guess what I'm picturing is like a big helicopter that like sprays like giant, you know, giant waves of like foam. Like a huge fire extinguisher. This is what I'm picturing. I don't know if this exists or if that's what you do when there's a big wildfire. I have no idea. I have no idea what you're supposed to do in this situation. My attention turns to the fire. Stomping on it would just submerge me waist deep in the blaze. And also there are 20 other blazes all over. The base of the tree trunk ignites and the embers float down onto the scattered path of twigs that make lines for the surrounding trees. Jesus Christ. I dig my boot into the ground and kick clouds of dirt onto it. Specks of ember are snuffed out, but the fire remains just as tall. Untrapping my walkie-talkie from my waist, I press the comm button and speak into it. But to whoever is listening in, it probably sounds more like an anxiety attack. Yeah! I would have an anxiety attack if I walked out into this.
To Illuminae Station, this is Ranger Adams. We have a situation behind the cabin post. 1070. I repeat, 1070. Get dispatched to send out a fire unit.
Adams with 2 A's? How bizarre. A broken voice crackles through the static. I'm sorry, I got distracted. There's a guy at my neighbor's house. I'm watching him out the window. I can't tell what he's doing. He's got like some kind of detector with like a really big antenna. And he's got like another, like a pole with a thing on the end of it. And he's tapping all over the walls. What's this guy doing? This is very mysterious. I was very tense about the forest fire, but then I got completely distracted. What is he doing out there? Huh. I'm gonna have to look that up.
To Illuminae Station, do you read me? To Illuminae Station!
Oh, great. Alright. This seems safe. I look around and realize just how caged in by these trees I am. No wonder the signal is so jumbled. Yeah. I feel like you should be getting away from the fire very quickly at this point. I didn't notice a fire extinguisher at the cabin, and the station is less than a mile away. If I ran, I could warn them, but with how quickly this thing is getting out of control, I really hope I don't have to make a choice about this, because I genuinely have absolutely no clue what you're supposed to do at this point. I scan the clearing. Snow is still on the ground, half melted and tossed around in random splotches. Is that the idea? Are we gonna throw snow at it? It's not a lot, but it could work. I scrape up as much snow as I can sandwich together. Clots of black dirt stain the white. It feels like dry ice in my hands. I just feel like this is too much fire. I feel like this is a lot of fire. I toss it over the fire. Most of the snow melts in an instant, but a section of the fire is extinguished with it. Alright, I mean, it's better than nothing. It's just there's so much. There's so much flames. So much flames and fire. For a brief second, relief washes over me, but just as fast it's ripped away. The fire flares up, engulfing more of the tree. I wince as the heat kisses my skin, the flames inching closer. I would run. At this point, run. Like, I don't know, it's your life on the line. A forest fire on the first day. Wonderful. Taking 3 nervous steps back, I glance over my shoulder. There's 7 more fires behind me. If running to the station is the only way, I guess I have no choice. My legs bend and I take my giant first step, but before I can take another, a shrill voice breaks through the woods.
Yo! Eve!
Oh, is she gonna geyser all over it? Would that help? Maybe that's the solution here. She's gonna geyser it. Yellowstone launches past the trees and into the clearing. Branches and leaves cling to her clothes. She skids to a stop, her eyes locking onto the fire.
Okay, so that's happening.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
What are you doing here?
Eve! There you are!
I think it's kind of interesting that they made, like... I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a ton of effort, but I think it's funny that they made, like, differently lit sprites for the fire lighting. Like, they're all red now. I don't know, it's a nice attention to detail. She offers a stiff salute.
We're here to help!
Her voice is muted, buried under the crackling of the fire.
We?
Oh great, you brought this small child with you. Descending from above the tree, Zion flaps her wings as she glides down to me, stopping to meet me face to face. Along the way, she fans the flames of the 7 different forest fires happening.
You can't do this alone.
I told you to stay at the cabin.
Yeah, she's like liable if anything happens to you, right?
Miss Eve, if this doesn't get put out soon, there won't be a cabin.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. Her usual meek voice rings with a mature clarity. Like an untamed weed, the flames shoot up taller. Branches look like candle wicks. There we go. Smaller flames snake to the surrounding trees, lighting the very soil aflame. I hate to bring non-park personnel into this, but she has a point. I don't know if she does. She's a little girl, right?
Fine, but as soon as things start looking hairy, I want you to get out of here.
Things look hairy right now. This is an extremely hairy situation. They give hurried nods. Good enough for me. Congrats, girls, you're deputized.
Gather up as much snow as you can and dump it on the fire. Dirt works too, but don't give the fire any extra fuel.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Can't she just spray a bunch of water out of her head? Wouldn't that help? I thought that's where this was going. But no, we're just picking up snow with our hands, running it back and forth. We all scramble to work. Yellowstone and I search for scattered piles of snow. We scrape them up by the armload and drop them onto the fire. The snow evaporates before our eyes. Zion flutters up to the peaks of the trees, shaking any branches that are still covered white. The snow crumbles away, smothering large portions of the flames. It sounds like sizzling bacon. Alright. Interesting detail. But as helpful as Zion's effort is, it only puts the connecting trails of the fire. It only puts out the connecting trails of the fire. Second tree cracks up at the second tree cracks as flames spread across the bark. How did I hide that one? I feel like my cursor was nowhere near the hide button. There we go. Then the next tree. Smoke is harsh and oppressive, flying right into the back of my nose and filling my lungs with buckets of burning air. Extremely good for my long-term health. Squinting is the only way to see through the pain. I expect my eyes to shrivel up in their sockets. I am dying. Through a fit of pained coughs, I call out to Yellowstone and Zion, hoping the two blurry watercolors in front of me are them. The two blurry watercolors, because, okay, yes, because she's squinting and she can't see them clearly.
No good. We need to get out. ASAP.
Wait, I have an idea.
What could we possibly do at this point?
Save it. If we stay here, we're toast.
The blur that I'm pretty sure is Zion ignores me, turning to the Yellowstone blur instead.
Yellowstone, you know I love you lots, right?
If I die here, know that I loved you.
Of course I do. Love you lots too. But the fire. I know. Which is why I'm really super sorry for what I'm about to do.
Yeah, okay, we are gonna use the
Please
geyser
don't
thing.
hate me.
I thought that's where this was going. Like, I was like, clearly that's where we're headed, but...
Huh? How could I ever hate my Earth Inc?
Zion raises up her tiny leg and stomps down on Yellowstone's foot to make her cry. The snapping of branches and crackling of the fire isn't enough to disguise the crunching, as I hear Zion dig her heels into Yellowstone's toes. Ah! You're breaking her toes? There's a broken whine. The pain is delayed.
Why?
She can't just do it on command. You have to break her toes to make her geyser. The high-pitched whine cranks up a frequency, growing as sharp and piercing as a fire alarm. A few sniffs and then it dissolves into bawling, shrieking straight into my eardrums. Yeah, I mean, I would probably also react that way if somebody walked over and broke all of my toes. I don't know if it's enough. Oh, that was a long cry. Maybe? I don't know if it's enough. It's only one girl's head. I go from shielding my eyes from the smoke to covering my ears to drown out the cries. What an awesome state of affairs. What a cool place to be. The brain-rattling shriek pierces my skull. Water bubbles from the opening on Yellowstone's head, boiling like a pot on a stove. With the explosive power of a gunshot, a geyser of water shoots out of her head, spraying into the air.
Whoa, 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 what?
You saw her do this earlier. Remember, they set it up for us.
Good. You're doing great. Just keep crying.
Break her other toes!
I'll try.
Yellowstone keeps the long-form sobbing going. The water sprinkles down on me, cooling me off in the midst of the hellish heat. I just don't know that there's enough, like... I don't know if she's covering enough ground, you know?
I hear you loud and clear, kid.
You shoot Zion a thumbs up. Have to give it to her. This is a smarter plan than anything I could ever have come up with. Really? This didn't occur to you, like, at all?
Yellowstone! Aim for the fire!
Okay!
Oh my god. Sometimes I can't tell if they're like trying to be funny or not. This is an extremely funny situation. Sobbing like a child lost in the supermarket, or a person whose toes were all just broken, Yellowstone obeys, bowing her head and blasting the geyser at the burning trees. Zion latches onto Yellowstone's waist, guiding the rush of water to the flames. Is the girl a national park or is she a fire hose? Vote now in the chat. It reminds me of a firefighter aiming a fire hose. Oh, there you go. I'm not clever. Maybe I am. Maybe me and the author of this visual novel are just on the same wavelength. Maybe we share equal cleverness. Not really. The swaying red and orange shrinks as the water splashes down on it. Bit by bit, the fire dies down. Smoke, lighter than the gray plumes that choked the air only seconds ago, blankets the clearing with a layer of mist. The roaring of the flames quiets to the snaps and pops of a campfire until all I hear are Yellowstone's hushed whimpers. Her tears and the geyser have dried up, as simple as twisting off a faucet. Well, I'm glad that, you know, it lasted as long as it needed to. Would have sucked if we had to injure her again to keep it going. The three of us hack out our lungs, retreating from the smoke so we can get a better look. Hang on, let me take a break and hack out my lungs real quick.
Is it out? Did we get it all?
Yes, but not before developing triple black lung. Yellowstone brushes away the remaining streaks of tears.
Looks like it.
It's nice how everything went back to lush and green immediately after all being on fire a second ago. I scuff the heel of my boot against the dirt just in case there are any stray sparks.
Yellowstone!
Zion tackles Yellowstone's legs, snuggling her face into her jacket.
I'm so proud of you. You did really good out there. You were so, boss. That's how you say it, right?
Could be. I guess you could say that.
Gee whiz. You really think so?
Not really. There was literally somebody holding your shoulders and aiming you, so I feel like you didn't actually do all that much. She wraps her arms around Zion and brings her in for a hug.
You did pretty swell out there, too. That was some quick thinking.
I mean, I'm glad you're being nice to her and all. Crack a smile, and how could I not? We just stopped this whole section of the park from going up in smoke. How could I not smile after standing in a forest fire for 15 minutes breathing in smoke? Also, these two might be adorable. Still, I can't help but shudder at what would have happened if I weren't here. And it's all because of those punks. See, I thought for a second that this was gonna like re-inspire her. Like, oh, my job is important. You know, I just saved lives here. I saved the forest. You know, I just did something meaningful. But instead, you know, it's just kind of fueling her general malaise. Another group of careless campers. If it's not a painting on rocks, it's hunting without a license. If it's not hunting without a license, it's somehow starting a forest fire in the biting cold of early spring. My smile, that small burst of happiness, is short-lived. My bitter and toxic personality re-arises and snuffs out any hint of joy I might have experienced. A glowing sense of duty lights up my guts as raging as a fire. I start trudging my way out of the clearing. Hello, bot. Good to see you. It's just you and me today, I think. You know, some days are like that, right? You just keep trucking along.
Miss Eve?
Thanks for the help. But you two need to get back to the cabin.
Where are you going?
I mean, surely she has to report this or something, right? There was just a giant fire over here.
To snuff out another fire before it spreads.
A metaphorical fire, I assume. Zooms in closer, but like she just gets lower quality because she's not intended to be blown up this big. That's my favorite visual novel thing. The rage stews inside me, building like a pressure cooker. I storm out of the woods. Pup's howls yelp out from the cabin as I pass it. Of course this would happen. Of course it would. How could Jessie think things would actually get better here? Why would I even humor that optimist junk? Oh man, I kind of thought she was gonna feel good for a second. I thought we were gonna get to like experience what she's like when she's happy. But I guess she's just too like deeply miserable. After all this time, I should know better. I should know how these people operate. I should know every thoughtless bastard tells themselves they aren't the problem and that one slip-up won't hurt anything. How the old men grumble about permits and feel entitled enough to throw their empty cans of beer into the lake because a sliver of their 6 figures are tossed to us like tossing leftovers to dogs. I mean, she's kind of based for some of this. People should not be mad about paying for the preservation of these parks because, you know, it does cost money to preserve them and they are a valuable national resource. But, you know, I just don't think you could let it ruin your life this way. It's not enough that I'm beholden to the greed and laziness of bureaucrats and the drooling masses, the land has to be too. Its vivid lushness airbrushed with greens and yellows, and those dewy autumn mornings, the brown and orange of harvest, the salt and pepper mountaintops with their rushing waterfalls, from the impenetrable Rockies to the harsh beauty of the Badlands to the sparkling shores of the Pacific and Atlantic. It's just another resource to exploit, a profit off of, to enjoy and then abandon. She's kind of base, is the thing. You know, when all she was grumbling about were like random individual campers that were being too loud or whatever, I was kind of like, okay, you know, okay. But like this part she's correct about. You know, on a broad scale, the systems that we live under are not designed to be kind to the earth and the environment. This part she is correct about. If that's how it's going to be, if that's the world we've built, let me be the first to try and knock it down. When I get to the camp, the brat pack is huddled in front of a tent. It shakes and blows with the wind, held down only by stakes driven into the ground. They speak in anxious whispers, unaware of my presence. The kid in the green jacket puffs away on a cigarette. Another one? Are you serious right now? Okay, actually, she was right about everything. I hate these people. I would kill myself if I came back and saw this after I just, like, put my life on the line to stop the previous cigarette fire. His girlfriend is the first to see me charging over. She mumbles his name, but by the time he notices me, I'm already up in his dumb face. I nab him by the collar and yank him from the safety of his group. I twist his shirt so my knuckles press against his neck. Probably not something you're allowed to do. I don't think this is something you're enshrined to do.
But you must be a real protege.
Like the spitting, like the splitting, the spitting, the splitting, the splitting of the Red Sea. His friends clear a path around him.
Whoa! Take it easy, lady!
Take it easy, lady. Take it easy, lady. You almost killed her.
This is assault! Oh my god, do you know how unethical this is?
Yeah, almost as bad as arson. Wanna report it?
You should report it. You shouldn't come over and beat the guy up. You should report them and have them removed from the camp. But, you know, I understand the anger. She did almost die. That shuts her up. I'm not going to lose any sleep because I dangled my slice of authority over these idiots. Not now.
What was rattling in that skull of yours, huh? You a firebug? This what gets you off? Or are you just stupid?
This moron with his ironed-out, wrinkleless brain can only find it in himself to stutter as he shakes a pack of cigarettes bounce around in his breast pocket. I can't believe he lit another cigarette. I could see how it could happen once. But, like, how do you cause that massive forest fire and then instantly go light another one? Like, immediately.
That's what I thought.
Like, that's fucking crazy. You know, one thing is a mistake. You know, and that happens sometimes. You're not thinking, whatever. Twice? I tug him closer. He swallows his Adam's apple, brushing against my fist.
Listen here, you little shit.
The zoom in to listen here, you little shit is crazy. Finally, he breaks out of his catatonic state and struggles to pull away. This just pisses me off more. I snatch the lit cigarette from his mouth and crumple it up in my hand. She doesn't even care about getting burned anymore after this previous experience.
I said listen!
The cigarette singes my palm. I hardly feel it thanks to the adrenaline. Maybe this is what finally puts the fear of me into him because he gasps audibly. The last of the smoke wisps out of his mouth. I would also be scared if someone just crumpled up a lit cigarette in their fist.
Do you know how sick I am of this? How often I have to sit by and watch people like you destroy good things? Does it even register? Is it some kind of game?
My throat clenches and my eyes sting with tears. I blink it away, but my unclouded vision only shows my fist clenching his shirt. There's an awkward silence as his friends glance away. Even he starts to wince, but I only grip tighter.
What gives you the right to burn the last few pieces of dignity this scarred husk of a rock has left? To raise any proof that we were once humble enough to live and breathe and die with the world we got dropped into? Before we got so tied up with ourselves, we felt the urge to make a distinction.
You know, I fundamentally agree with her anger here. I just don't really see how this is going to help her. You know, I don't think this conversation is good for her. I think she probably should have, you know, gone back to the cabin and called and had these people ejected and not interacted with them again. And then probably laid down, drank some water. I mean, you know, it's my 2 cents. I know you're probably not in your clearest state of mind due to the smoke inhalation. My eyes. I'm inserting myself in the story now. His eyes swoop up above me and linger there.
Answer me! Tell me I'm not just a bandage for your arrogance!
I was just trying to start a campfire with a cigarette, okay?
Why would you do that? If you had something to light the cigarette, why didn't you just light the campfire with that? A bird caws. For a moment, all I hear is the wind. Even the calm music in the background disappears. Tears fall absent-mindedly from my cheeks. A campfire with a cigarette. 4 years of pent-up anger, forgotten passion, frustration, and confusion. Whew! It all comes rocketing out of me as I swing my fist at his face. That's an indication that I am ready to take a sip. When I start getting that tongue-tied. A hand grips my arm before I can connect.
That's enough, Eve.
Oh, sorry, this is my elf. That's a whole other story. It has nothing to do with the thing that I was saying about starting fires. I spin around, seething with fury. Yosemite stares down at me, a little worse for wear, but tall and straight like a sequoia. She towers over the campers. They look like shrubs in comparison. They already look like scrubs.
Chewed them out. They were just about to leave anyway.
Her voice is stern and certain. She scans the group of campers, her steely gaze punctuated by the residue of sweat that sticks to her cheeks. As soon as we walk away, they light like an entire other pack of cigarettes. They each give an affirming nod. The kid in the green jacket wiggles out of my death grip, and the whole lot of them scramble further into the camp.
Why the hell would you do that? They're just going to call...
The transition. She envelops her arms around me, then pulls me in for a hug. My hat blows off from the force of, you know, our lesbianism.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
Aww. They're in love. This is a very quick enemies to lovers, isn't it?
What?
I guess we're gonna do an enemies to friends to lovers sort of arc. You know, we're not gonna jump all the way there. But the seeds are sown. I see where we're headed. The path before me is clear. Her voice is a whisper that caresses my ear.
You've done enough. At least for today.
I've done enough? I hear that and go limp. Over her shoulder in the thick of the woods, I can see the cabin nestled under the pines like a forgotten paradise. The citrus smell of lemongrass sticks to Yosemite's jacket. Her skin, while no longer feverish, is warm like an embrace from a blanket. She's so fucking cool and hot and awesome. I can't wait to smooch later. The image of the cabin blurs as my breath shakes, and for the first time in maybe 4 years, the tears aren't angry or frustrated or confused, only sad. And again, you know, probably a little confused, probably still a little shaken up from the whole situation. From the impending PTSD and the smoke inhalation. I can finally let them be sad.
I just wanted to protect what I love.
Oh wow, we are jumping straight to lovers, aren't we? I don't think she realizes what she just said and to whom. Yosemite gasps as if her breath has been sucked away. She pushes my head down, pressing it against her shoulder as she strokes my hair. I cry into her jacket, the tears dampening the hide and leather.
You're a fool.
She chuckles and I can hear the soft grin in her voice.
But maybe we need more fools.
Aw, this is sweet, actually. I like this. The tears keep coming, so much I think I might choke on them. With each breath I draw and every sob I take, my throat gets tighter. Maybe it's trying to wring it all out after all this time. To be commended like that means more to me than approval or a pat on the back from Jessie. It's validation, it's acknowledgement, that even if what I'm doing is meaningless, I've still devoted myself to it and suffered. And maybe that suffering isn't entirely worthless after all. This is very sweet. I feel like I've been taking the piss with this game a little bit. Just, with little things here and there, but overall, I think this is sweet. I like this. I'm endeared by this. And, obviously, I don't work in this specific industry, but, some of you are aware. I do have a pretty thankless public-facing job, where you see a lot of pretty depressing outcomes. And you interact with a lot of people who don't care and who make things worse. So, in that sense, as much as I have been dogging on Eve here, I understand that frustration and how disheartening it can be. And so, to have this moment of catharsis for her, I think it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying and sweet. And as Yosemite holds me while the wind howls through the branches and the larks whistle above us, I start to think maybe it's worth it to hold on and suffer for just a bit longer. Aww. We got the tree hugger achievement.
Just listening to all that gives me a headache. How on earth did you find so much trouble on your first day?
I think that is a good place for us to pause for today, especially since I think I'm by myself in here. That's alright, that's alright. We'll have the VOD. We'll always have our memories. I'll be back on Tuesday, probably with more date everything, since I'm, again, completely devoted to finishing that long-ass fucking game. I don't think this game will be quite this long. I imagine this one's gonna take probably 2 or 3 more streams to fully complete. But I will come back to it, because I am endeared by this, and I want to see where it goes. Particularly with our romantic subplot, which I'm convinced is happening. I have no idea if that's actually where this game is going, but, fingers crossed that it is. I'm invested at this point. We've done 2 episodes, now I'm locked in. So I'll probably come back with more of this next week on Thursday. In the meantime, anyone who's watching, thank you very much. And I guess that's all I've got for now. I enjoy coming on and having the chance to play and share my thoughts, even if it's to the void on any given day. And I don't know, just glad to be here. I think that's it. I think that's all I've got. Let me make sure that I'm saved. And that we know what we're getting into. Are we still in chapter 1 of this game? Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this actually is going to be a really long game. I'm not totally clear, because I think I saw that it had chapters, but I'm not clear on when the chapters, roll over. We'll have to find out as we go along. I guess we'll just have to keep exploring the game. I'm not clear on what A and Q stand for either. This menu is just kind of odd to me. Whatever. I'm just along for the ride. I'm winging it, taking it as it comes. But yeah, thank you guys again. And with that being said, I will catch you guys on Tuesday. Adios.